All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday, everyone. First full week of 2026. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, guys. Let me just make sure you guys can hear me all loud and clear. Hope everyone had an amazing weekend as well. We've had some big news over the weekend. Markets have had some very, very big moves in the overnight session as well. You guys who were trading Asia today, gold's had a huge move. Silver's had a huge move. Oil's had a huge move. I'm sure most of you guys have probably seen the news that happened over the weekend in Venezuela. And there is some massive reasons to see commodities move like they have moved so far today. Audio and video, good, awesome. Thank you, man. Welcome back, everyone. If you guys are new here, welcome. My name is Aaron, also known as Aaron Trades. I've been trading for the past 7 years and mainly focus on gold futures here in the European session. So good to be back on with you guys. Like I say, I hope everyone had an amazing weekend. It is the first full trading week of 2025. Let's just have a look at the news. Oh, nice, Bruno, nice. Let's have a quick look, see what we got for the week ahead. Obviously, you know, gold's had an absolutely phenomenal move. Silver's had a great move as well. I haven't had a look at NASDAQ yet, but we'll have a look. Let's see. So yeah, last week there was a huge sell-off on gold. Probably one of the most bearish weeks on gold that we have seen in a very, very, very long time. I'm just reading here about what happened over the weekend. Let's see. No, nothing too much. Nothing too crazy. Now, in terms of what do we have coming up this week, we do have a lot of news this week, guys. There's a lot coming out this week. Let me just have a look at these lower time frame charts before I start looking at the news, just in case we miss anything here. Silver looks good for longs. Gold's kind of already pretty bullish. Remember, guys, throughout all of this year, I'm going to be trading and tracking silver a lot more as well. We'll see which is presenting the nicer opportunities. Gold's kind of already pushed quite a lot. I do believe you'll probably see gold squeeze the highs one more time. But we got time here. We got time. Let's have a look. So in terms of news coming up this week, we have PMI today, 3 o'clock London time. Tomorrow, nothing. Wednesday, we have ADP non-farm employment changes. And we also have JOLTS job openings as well. At 3 o'clock London time. Thursday, unemployment claims. And then Friday, we have non-farm payroll and we have consumer sentiment. So biggest days is obviously we got PMI today at 3 o'clock. Wednesday is going to be a big day, 1:15, and then again at 3 o'clock. And then Friday, 1:30 is NFP. And then you do have consumer sentiment into 3 o'clock London time. So we are in for a pretty big week in the markets. There is a lot coming up this week. Let's see it. Nice, very nice. I have to check where I'm going. I'll let you know. I've been to Paris in a long time. But yeah, I'm going to Paris for my girlfriend's weekend this week, which will be nice. So let's see. Let's have a look at the market so far, guys. Obviously, with that being said, that's scheduled news. You know, obviously we have had some big news come out over the weekend in Venezuela, which was huge. I actually found out about it before it was kind of circling around social media because my barber is from Venezuela and he was showing me videos. I was like, that's insane. Then all of a sudden it was all over the news. And I was like, that's crazy. Yeah. Big time, man, big time. So let's have a look. Gold, obviously, like I said, you know, last week we had an absolutely huge sell-offs on the weekly time frame on gold. Probably it may be one of the biggest sell-offs that we'll probably see for the year. It's probably one of the biggest sell-offs we even saw last year. You know, how big were these sell-offs? 4.2%, you know, almost 6%. And then last week, yeah, gold closed down minus 6.5%. Barber inside trading, yeah, something like that. It was crazy. I saw the videos. I was like, oh, wow, that's insane. So obviously, you know, although we did close very bearish last week, gold is still overall bullish. We're still very bullish. We have been for all of last year. We have been since back here in February, gold's been so bullish on a higher time frame. So weekly still very bullish. Daily time frame. Nice thing about here on gold is, last week you came down, you tagged a lot of lows, you never closed back above, back below, and you continued pushing higher. Now, for you guys who were here before I cover it, you guys who were here on Friday, was it Friday we were on? Yeah, Friday last week. If you guys remember how I said I was not shorting gold up here. I was not buying gold up here. If you guys remember in our London session, we said to stay very, very, very patient in here, because I was basically saying, you guys can go back and watch it, that I believe gold needs a deep retracement. Gold then ended up into New York session, tagging highs pre-New York, and selling off like 400 ticks. And it ended up being an absolutely amazing short. So did any of you guys get that short on Friday? I know we didn't get any trades when we were on stream because we weren't looking for any longs that high. But into the New York session, it gave an absolutely great short. An absolutely great short. And that was my first trade of the year, and it was an absolutely huge trade. Let me see here if I can show you guys. Where are we? Let me see if I can bring this across. Just before we jump in today, gold's already quite high, guys, so we're gonna need a little bit of time, but we'll look at some other markets as well. But yeah, gold was, where are we? Ended up being an absolutely huge short. That was the short there on Friday. You guys remember we were literally talking about how we do not want to be buying gold as high as we were for that London session. And we said it's very likely you're going to see a pullback at least back down into that VWAP. You ended up selling off absolutely massively. Gold was down. I didn't get anywhere near as much as this. I got, I think, about 100-ish ticks. And gold was down about 950, which was just absolutely huge. So if you guys did take that short on Friday, well done. It was an absolutely fantastic short. A great short. Now, with where gold is right now, again, it's kind of similar to where we were here, where I don't really want to be buying up here. Although I do believe you'll probably squeeze out some hourly highs and you may retrace a little bit more. If we look at how much gold's up already today, we're already up 815 ticks, which was insane. Entry point on that short, there's a full trade breakdown in Discord, man. You guys definitely have to watch the trade breakdowns. I give a full trade breakdown in Discord, break it down, where I got short on why. Very important to watch them, guys. Very important. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's very important. But yeah, there was a nice 5 minute. There was a nice 5 minute liquidity grab. I'll show you it here. It was a 5 minute. It was a 5 minute liquidity grab. Look at this, perfect double top. Look at that, perfect double top. Came up, grabbed the highs. But what had you not yet done? We hadn't grabbed any of the lows. So it was a very simple trade. A very simple trade. You came up, tagged the highs. Where had you not tagged? You hadn't tagged the lows. So I got short as the momentum was kicking in, like somewhere around here. I took 2 entries on this. I took an initial short here. As it started selling off aggressively, I took another short here, and I was averaging somewhere like around here. Just risk not that high. That. I just took it from there to there. Could have held this for way longer. But to be honest, I was like here, and these lows here are 2 nice targets. I think that was the liquidity levels that we talked about on Friday as well. It was also, look at that, nice trend line coming up. Trend line coming up, you kind of manipulate the trend line, but you didn't really grab any lows. You didn't grab that point. So it was a very nice short. A really good short. Super simple trade as well. Just following the liquidity levels. So we do have, like I say, gold is up 800 ticks coming into the London session today, which is pretty crazy. It's no surprise after the news over the weekend. Commodities in Venezuela are huge, so there's been some massive pushes. Oil's gone absolutely crazy as well, which we'll have a look at. But if we do want to trade gold, I do, again, same as Friday, I like gold for a pullback. I don't want to be a buyer this high on gold. I will not buy gold this high. It's just had that much of a push. And, if you could be thinking, well, same as last week, if we're not going to buy it this high, does that mean we should start shorting? Personally, no. There's no reason for me to short yet after an 800 tick push up. The only way I will short gold is if we just do the exact same thing here. Let's say if right now on gold, where are we at? Let's see where gold is. If we come up, grab the highs, start to break back below with volume, fantastic. We can look for a short on gold to, come all the way back down into like these levels down here. Look at this. Even let's just mark on liquidity levels for the downside today on gold would be these lows down here, and would also be looking at this area, which also lines up nicely with that 4,400 region as well. So they would be my potential downside targets on gold. Now, like I say downside targets. That doesn't mean we're just going to short gold for no reason. That's just the levels that I would be looking for if we do get some sort of closure back below. So there you go. Post it on X. For you guys who are over on X, I'm just on there at the Aaron Trades. I posted the first trade of the year. That was my first trade of the year. It was an absolutely huge short on gold at TopstepTV, hashtag London Open. And that was the chart right there. So if you guys are on X, that was the short right there. And that was the levels that we spoke about in the London session. So if you guys are over on X, if you tag myself, tag TopstepTV, hashtag London Open, I will see your guys' charts. All right, let's have a look. So we do have, we've got London Open coming up in about 15 minutes. Hourly time frame does look like it wants to grab previous hourly highs here on gold, so I would need to see how this hourly candle is going to close. Let's say if gold doesn't grab these highs right now, the only way I can buy this is if we get some sort of, hourly liquidity grab. Say this next hour comes down, tags the lows, and then we start to re-break back higher, then fantastic. Then I can look to take longs. So the only level I will long gold is below previous hourly lows if we grab these lows before tagging highs. If London opens and just squeezes the highs, then there could be a short coming in. If London open and just squeezes the lows, then we could be looking for a long. So we kind of need to see how this hourly candle is going to open and close here on gold. See how the current hourly is going to close. See if we can get some sort of manipulative wick lower, and then we could be forming a nice double top, and we could take gold into there. So that's the only reason. That's the only way that I can potentially look for some longs here on gold. Let's have a look at silver. Everyone's been loving the silver. Did see silver had again. Silver had an absolutely huge move overnight as well. I think Coach Jay got a great trade. I believe. I think I saw. Or I think he made like 8,000 or something. You guys who are trading the overnight session are having crazy moves. You guys are having massive moves in the Asian session. Where's Jay? Let me see. I don't know if he posted it on Twitter. It was on Instagram. Did he post it on Twitter? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Look at that. Coach Jay making the 8,400. Look at that. Absolutely insane. Huge trading the overnight session. Overnight session, Asian session. You guys who are trading that, it has been the craziest session to trade throughout 2025. I think even in 2026 already. Everyone used to write off the Asian session that you couldn't trade it. Man, it's been happening by far. Some of the craziest of moves. Absolutely crazy moves. Now let's have a look. Silver again. We have kind of been playing around these all-time high regions. You bounced off 80. You've also bounced back off 70 as well. And now you're kind of right back in that middle of the range, right at that $75 region. So again, silver is still overall bullish. It's kind of hard to get any sort of read on this daily price action right now. Intraday, you had this gap up with the news over the weekend, continued to squeeze higher. You're breaking back above 75. So to be honest, I think you may see silver come up for a little bit of a higher push. Maybe come back up into this current Asia high level, which could be a nice liquidity level. You had that very nice liquidity grab here in Asia, held the VWAP, held 75. I think you could probably take this higher. I think silver longs could be nice. Let's have a look at oil. Yeah, let's have a look at oil. I did have a quick look at oil this morning. But for silver, before we jump on, I would be looking for... You can kind of see here in this 15-minute time frame, tag the lows and close bullish. So it's not a bad level, to be honest, to look for some current longs on silver. I do believe you'll get a lot of people maybe trying to short this right now. Maybe you risk off these highs here. So for silver to continue pushing up into there, could be nice. My only concern with silver right now is you've already pushed so much in Asia and you're in a little bit of a range. Yeah, oil. Let's have a look. Oil had a huge gap up and had an absolutely crazy move. So you gapped up here, oil, hit 57.50, sold all the way back down to lows of 56.5-ish, came all the way back up, and then all the way back down. Like the amount of movement the oil has done already today is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. Look how much you sold off here. Huge sell-off. Massive continuation higher. And then you are straight back below. So I would absolutely not like to be an oil trader, to be honest. Huge sell-off, massive rip, massive sell-off. If you look at the higher time frame on on oil, I mean, not that it really matters because this is purely fundamental driven. There's no technicals behind this. This is a very messy place to even want to trade oil in here. Like the fact that oil has just been trending lower and lower, just getting squeezed lower constantly with no significant pullbacks. It's just like we could just continue just selling off here, especially if we do break below these 57 regions. You know, you could see oil have a really big drop here. If you break this massive support on oil, you could see a deep pullback into 50. It's a pretty scary level. In terms of intraday trading, I wouldn't intraday trade it today. You're just, you know, going to end up trying to predict way too much. Way too much. So it's had some huge moves that, yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't even really want to be I wouldn't want to be an oil trader, that's for sure. Let's have a look at NASDAQ. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, news is unlikely to have a big effect on oil price in 2026, as it would take so long for the US to even have the infrastructure in place to produce a significant amount of oil. Yeah. And that's why it's moving as crazy as it is. I think commodities are moving much nicer. Oil, silver are moving much nicer. Oil, I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, I never intraday trade oil anyway. I think oil's so hard to read and so inconsistent. I certainly wouldn't want to be trading it today. Let's have a look on NQ. There's a lot of levels going on here, so let's absolutely clean this up. I don't know why my levels are like this. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Let's clean this up a bit here on NQ, because NQ and stocks are in some pretty interesting areas, and there's some pretty interesting outlooks on the stocks coming into 26, where I think we could maybe get a bit of a bearish start to the year. Before then, maybe Q2, Q3, you start to see a run for all-time highs. So, similar to gold, NQ had a very decent sell-off last week as well. Let me just have a quick look at gold here, guys. Where's my charts? Oh, sorry, this one's supposed to be... Let's have a quick look at gold, make sure we're not missing anything. So this chart should be NQ, and this chart should be gold. Let's have a look. Let's have a very quick look at Goldie. Kind of want to see if gold can maybe grab these lows and potentially see some longs. We've got London Open in about 5 minutes here as well, guys. Gold could retrace a lot here, which is kind of why I want to be a seller, but I won't be a seller if we don't grab the highs. Now let's have a look. NQ, big sell-off last week. Very decent closure. There's the measuring tool here. Sold off 2.4%. Well, this is kind of the first full week of 2026. But it was a pretty decent sell-off. You're now trading back below 25,750, back below 25,500. So could you see NQ maybe come back down, retest last week's low? Instant top wick on this weekly time frame, no bottom wick on this weekly opening price. So I would say for price to come down into this weekly opening would be a pretty logical area to look at. So we got here, and we got here. And look at this last week. Huge grab of the highs. Grabbed a lot of liquidity and sold off right back below. So I guess this was our analysis from Friday. But look how many highs we grabbed, even all the way back up into here. Look at this. Wicked out all the highs. Aggressive sell-off. So I would like to be continuing to follow that on NQ, especially first thing here on a Monday morning. I wouldn't want to be fighting against that just yet. So in terms of intraday trading, you've had a pretty decent run up here in the Asian session. You're now right back at that 25,500, which is big higher time frame resistance right now. So you'll be trying to see if you can actually break. See, look how it's very messy in here. Very messy. Look at this price action. It's impossible to read any sort of price action in here. So I'd want to see a bit of a decent breakout on NQ to see if you could get short into this weekly open price. And then you got last week's low down here as well. Wouldn't want to really personally want to be buying NQ here. It looks very messy. Again, I think gold and silver are looking the nicest. We got London Open in 4 minutes here, guys. London Open in 4 minutes. Let's have a look. What's silver up to? I'm just going to get up my tracking document. Let's have a long. Longs on gold from today. Yeah, it was quite a lot. Any sort of the thing on gold is you never grabbed any of this real double top here. Because any of these breakouts is all part of the fundamentals. I'd like to be buying this. As soon as you start breaking above here on gold, you're gonna rip these highs. Because you never grabbed the double top last week. Although you did grab these intraday highs and sold off, you never actually grabbed the double top. So to come back up for these areas was pretty logical. To be honest, any sort of breakout I would have wanted to be following this on gold. In terms of like picture perfect technicals, not really. It'd more so just be following these breakouts. They were huge breakouts. Even here on gold, you break above here, 4,400, like buying like right there, that you took 100 ticks of that 1 a.m. London time candle would have been a great trade. Because you're closing bullish. The amount of people who would have been trying to short this in Asia today, looking to do something like this, yeah, it would have been an amazing trade. You're breaking above previous support, you're breaking above the view app, you're breaking above 4,400. Yeah, I would have been wanting to buy this 1 a.m. candle all day long. Yeah, once you kind of grab the double top, then in here is where you don't want to trade. You don't want to be buying into the highs. As soon as you grab the highs here, you'd want to be very careful trading in here. There's nice 15-minute morning star down here, breaking out. Even here, again here, right at that last 15 of the hourly candle, came down, tagged the lows, closed bullish. So buying that 1 a.m. candle, yeah, it would have been very nice. And in that 1 hourly candle, you wicked up 270 ticks, which is massive. So you did 100 of that. If you took it from anywhere breaking the highs into here, 140 ticks, yeah, it would have been huge. Would have been huge. I can't wait to get back to trading the overnight session. Gold's been having some of the best moves in the overnight session. Kind of did for all of last year as well. Yeah, I mean, if there's not one on the 30, yeah. I mean, you don't even really need to see it on the 30-minute. Sorry, 15. I mean, it's just here. As soon as you break out, like, there's the trade right there. You got targets. You got huge high time frame breakouts. Like, that right there is beautiful. Huge. As soon as you see this close above this 4,400 region, then that's a massive indication. Okay, cool, we're going to grab these highs now. You're having a huge breakout. Wait, look at this. Huge breakout. Breaking above 4,400. You've got clear targets above. Bam, right there to there. Execution, just execute. That's a great trade. You close back local, you close trade. Hey Aaron, hey man, is using the spot chart a good source of info for the current GC price action? Yeah, I use the spot chart as well to kind of see the liquidity levels. Absolutely, I use both charts, to be honest, man. I like to have on my spot chart here on the right. I just have a really just clean chart, like no real analysis, just pure price action, so I can really see what's going on. And yeah, it does help. Sometimes you can see the spot chart grabbing highs and lows before the futures chart. You know, sometimes the futures chart respects a double top, but sometimes the currency chart can do this. And then that's enough for you to start taking the big short. The big short. Yeah, daily bias is obvious. Asia is probably the easiest session to trade. It's crazy how simple it can be when you have your daily bias as well. You know exactly what you're looking for. It almost always plays out in Asia. It's very rare that we jump on and Asia doesn't hit the liquidity levels, the daily highs and lows. So we got London Open here, guys. Let's have a look. No, not at all, Jake. Go ahead, man. That's what it's all about. Not at all, man. Ask as many as you want, man. That's what it's all about. Not just waiting for trades. Asking questions, sharing trades. 100%, man. Absolutely. No such thing as a stupid question either, you know. Absolutely ask away, man. No problem at all. No problem at all. That's what it's all about. Not just, you know, just you guys listening to me and watching me. It's, you know, you guys ask questions, share some trades. You can look at other markets as well. Absolutely, man. So we got London Open here, guys. We got London Open. We have had this pretty decent breakout. We're coming down for a decent bottom wick here. And if we... Let's have a look here. 30 minutes looking like it wants to come lower. I really want to see us come and grab some lows before we take this. I think we can wick out some lows. And I want to look to see if we can take gold higher. Retreat waitlist. Let me see if I can grab it, man. The retreat waitlist. I posted it on my IG story yesterday. I do have it here, though. Here it is, man. There it is. Is it there? How big is this? How big is this range here on gold? 50 ticks, not bad. Bad. Okay, yep, Horus, man. Yeah, I just if I'm gonna buy gold as high as it is, after we have pushed so much in Asia, yeah, I want to be doing it at a good level. At 44.10, 44.10, 44.10. That's a huge retracement. It's quite far away. I mean, if we're going to come to 44.10, these lows here, and I would love to short it. That's kind of what I want to see gold coming back down to these levels, back down to that view, back down to these lows here. But if I'm going to sell gold, you know, I will only sell it if we liquidate some highs. Oh yeah, ideally I'd like to be a seller on gold. Kind of same as Friday. You know, I don't want to be a buyer this high, but if I'm going to short gold, you know, I want to see price come up, grab the highs, and then see if you can sell off. Kind of exactly the same thing we did on Friday. You come up, look at this, you range, you like this, you bring in a lot of liquidity, then you come up, tag the highs, and sell off. Like Friday's liquidity trade was an absolutely perfect example of manipulation right there. Like it was absolutely perfect. It was like almost like that picture perfect market structure where, you know, people see this, they go, oh cool, a new low, I'm gonna look for something like this. But as we know, if gold is going to have a sell-off, well, if it's doing this and then this, it's going to do this and then it's going to sell off. And that is exactly what happened on Friday. And it was absolutely beautiful. That was the liquidity plan to an absolute T. An absolute T. And that's the level of liquidity and manipulation that you guys want to be looking for. Why would you short here? Well, because you grabbed the highs and you hadn't grabbed any downside lows. You were above previous 4-hour highs. You were above daily highs. Gold was overall very bearish. It was an absolute textbook trade. Now, what on Friday, guys, you should really backtest and study that move, because it was a very, 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 very key trade. And like I say, it ended up being an absolutely huge sell-off as well. Huge sell-off. So we spoke about all beforehand as well. So first 5 minutes, London Open here, guys. Kind of wicking lows, wicking highs. Let's have a look at silver trying to break back higher. Add that hourly close here on silver. Let's have a look. I really want to buy silver, but again, it's kind of tough for me to want to buy this high. You're already almost at previous hourly highs. Again, I want to see a bottom wick. It's kind of messy in here on silver. Again, I do believe you'll see silver come up for a decent liquidity grab. I want to see gold come down lower as well. Let's see, guys. Let's see. I do have to shoot off early today, unfortunately, guys. Not yet. Not yet. Don't leave just yet. But I do have to shoot off early today. I have to check out of the Airbnb in about 40 minutes because we're checking into a new place. So I will be on for about an hour today, guys. Then you guys in Zoom will jump on for the pre-New York market call today as well. Back to the market calls. Do you think it's good to buy one micro at market open and just hold all the way, given the current bullish structure and run to all-time high? That doesn't sound like a good idea. Well, what would be the reasoning for that trade, given the bullish structure and run to all-time highs? Well, if you did it through all of these times, you would have got wiped out every single time. I don't think it, even here you would have got wiped out. I don't think it's as, unfortunately, as easy as buying at market open and making money. I think we'd be very rich if that was the case. Unfortunately, it's not. Exactly, you could as well, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think it's that easy. Sadly not. I think markets require more analysis than that. It can be simple, but maybe not that simple. Happy New Year, Aaron. Happy New Year to you too, man. Honestly, can't thank you enough. Learning to do the morning top-down analysis and replicating your patience has enabled me to be way more consistent. Thank you. That's absolutely amazing, man. That's what we love to hear. Happy New Year to you too. That's absolutely fantastic. Hey, Aaron, is liquidity and daily buy stuff from that ICT stuff? No, not at all. ICT didn't invent liquidity, man. No, not. I don't trade ICT stuff at all. Didn't take the Asian session long today because price had already pushed up and felt like I'd missed an opportunity after such a strong move. Which is a good point. It's logical thinking, to be honest, man. So let me get back to gold. Sometimes get confused because there are times when you say not to short after a big push since the market is trading higher. On other occasions, you mentioned that after a gold push up needs a pullback. I mean, yeah, that which is a good point to us, man. But I mean, gold today was purely fundamentally driven. This is purely based off fundamentals over the weekend. That massive news in Venezuela is kind of, if ever there's a skeptical time in the market, the money goes straight into gold. But which is a good point. Like I can, which is kind of why it's hard for me to say I definitely would have bought this in Asia. Because I agree, like when you pushed up this much, you would be thinking, oh, well, maybe price is going to pull back and then I'm going to get in the trade. But the only way I would have flipped that bias is once you actually do break out and you're closing so bullish that it doesn't look like there's a reason for price to pull back. You're breaking out with so much volume that you want to be following it. Whereas here right now on gold, would you say, well, should we buy this breakout? The reason I wouldn't buy this breakout is look how we're now forming candles that are throwing some big signs of resistance. But more importantly, no liquidity levels to the left. Whereas the breakout in Asia, you had clear targets. And that's the most important part. You had clear targets and you had a huge breakout. When gold's breaking out with, 270 tick bullish candles, I want to be following that. Especially when you close bullish like this, that's your indication. Okay, you're gonna grab these highs. But I agree, man. It definitely wasn't the easiest, but this wasn't really a technical setup. This was more of a fundamental move. First thing on Monday morning, massive news over the weekend in Venezuela. So yeah, it was I think what you're thinking there, to be honest, man, longer term is a much more logical thing to look at. When you've already pushed this much, you know, you jump on, Asia's already up, you know, 500 ticks. Yeah, you kind of don't want to be chasing that, which is the smart thing to do. So doing that long term is definitely the smart thing to do. Today was just more fundamentally driven, and look for them quick pushes up into liquidity levels. But yeah, to be honest, man, what you're thinking is absolutely correct, 100%. Did you steal ICT strat? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, literally. And yeah, I remember trading gold at them crazy prices. It is crazy. I think I was trading gold when it was back at like 1,800 or maybe if not even lower, probably even lower, which is insane. I was trading gold. Like back down here. You can't even really see it here. It was on a huge run, and it went into like a 5-year range or 3-year range. But yeah, I was trading gold way below 2,000, and now I look at it, I'm like, man, if I'd bought gold back down at 2,000s, would have been crazy, absolutely crazy. Yeah, literally, man, literally. Makes sense. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. It's especially in Asia, you know, if Asia's, to be honest, anytime I jump on Asia, and if Asia's already up like, you know, a couple of 100 ticks before I've been able to jump on for whatever reason, yeah, I'm pretty much like, oh, that's fine, I'll come back for London. You know, if Asia on average, you know, 200, 300 ticks max. So if I jump on, it's already up 200 ticks. I'm like, well, that's the majority of the move already been and gone, unfortunately. Airbnb versus hotel thoughts. I prefer Airbnbs. I don't like to be in a hotel room versus being in a whole house. Wi-Fi is much better as well for trading. Holding buys since 44. Yeah, if you're holding buys from down here, you're in a great position right now. To be honest, I would personally, being as bullish as gold has been today, I would already be. Again, I'm not going to tell you guys what to do. I can't tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor. But if I was buying gold from down here, I would be out at this high here. Just because if we look at gold, how much we've pushed today, to me, this could have a decent retracement. And that is a great trade as well, especially, you know, first thing on a Monday morning. You think you said you're long from 44,001. You know, you're up like 300 ticks. At one contract, it's a $3,000 trade. One micro is a $300 trade. That's a great trade with one micro. 2 micros, $600. Like, that's a huge position. There's a great, great, great trade. And if we look at this from a completely neutral perspective now, that's why it's kind of tough here on gold. You know, although it looks very bullish right now, this day still has all of London to go, all of New York to go, and at any point this could wick right back down, which is exactly what happened at Friday. When I was talking about gold shorts on Friday, this was very bullish. But the reason I said I was wanting to be a seller here on gold is because you'd already pushed so much and you're back at the huge resistance. So although gold is very bullish right now, I mean, at any point this can find some resistance and start to have a bit of a pullback. So, oh wow, there you go. Look at that in silver. Well, there's the liquidity levels there. And so again, guys, I'm not 100% confident on trading silver yet, but that is the silver push. So again, this is one thing I'm going to be doing for this whole entire year, is documenting and starting to trade more what looks nicer in London sessions, silver or gold. So far, it has been silver. So it's super simple. I don't need anything complicated. Again, silver. I'm gonna make this look a little bit prettier. But what was the setup here? I think you had a 30-minute liquidity grab. So you had a 30-minute liquidity grab. You closed bullish. I think there was an hourly liquidity grab as well. Yeah, look at this hourly grab the lows. So I would say this was more of a 30-minute, 30-minute and hourly liquidity play with liquidity targets. So silver again looking much nicer than gold here this morning, guys. I don't have full confidence to want to be a silver trader just yet, just because it does move so much, but I am going to be tracking it a lot more. But that is, yeah, that's the liquidity levels being hit there on silver, which is kind of what I was saying. My thought process on silver, again, I don't trade it enough to want to risk my money on it just yet, but that's my thought process. People trying to short here, risking off here and here. So that's the liquidity levels hit, which we just spoke about as well. So if you did take it, well done. For me, silver's still a little bit scary. Silver's still a little bit crazy. Hi Aaron, hey man. Why would your marked out liquidity level be the previous hourly low? Which one? Sorry man, which one? Oh, do you mean why would I mark this low here and not this one? Gold breaking high here as well, guys. Look at this. Gold tagging the highs here on the futures. Currency not yet there. Yeah, one micro long, nice. Yeah, micro on silver is more than enough. More than enough. Anyone take that silver trade? The liquidity levels got hit pretty well. Nice, up 700 on silver, amazing. Gold. The reason gold wasn't as nice here is there's no real liquidity guys. By the time you take the breakout on gold, it's already filled the range. So silver is much nicer. No, silver's, if you've never traded silver before, silver moves very, very, very big. You know, even one micro on silver. I think we took a trade last week on silver, and one micro, it was like $500 in like 10 minutes with one micro. Silver moves very, very big. So if you've never traded silver before, be careful. Wow, look at that. Just I did nice Bruno, nice. Just past 5 evals on that silver move, nice. That's crazy. Be careful trading silver, guys. I know it's great, you get great moves, but just manage your risk. Make sure you understand it well enough, because it is a very crazy market. Have the low of 630. Let's have a look, man. Let's have a look. Low of 630. Yeah, you can mark on that low as well. That's a very valid low. To be honest, it doesn't actually really matter what full bought silver. It doesn't actually matter what low you mark on, to be honest, Philip. I think what's important is, you know, the way we would have traded gold here is just any grab of the lows. You know, even if we grabbed this low, that would have been enough to take the trade. If we grabbed this low, also enough. If we grabbed this low, also fantastic. So it doesn't really matter which liquidity level you mark on. I just wanted to see some sort of grab of any lows to be able to trade gold this high. That's true, yeah, it's true. I see a lot of people doing it, to be honest, Chris. I'll talk about that after, actually. Remind me, Chris, talk about that after. Great, that's me, yeah. And that's the thing, you know, sometimes, you know, we maybe worry about, you know, how come I have this low marked on or this low marked on. But honestly, it doesn't really matter what low you marked on. I think what's most important is, did you grab some lows before breaking out? Well, yes, you did. You grabbed these lows here and you broke out. You know, if I had these lows marked on here, you didn't grab them, but you grabbed these ones, would that be enough to take the trade? Well, technically, yes, as long as you have grabbed some lows. The reason I wouldn't take gold is because you're already at the liquidity level. So as soon as I buy gold here, you know, I'm already having to manage risk very, very, very aggressively. Like 15 ticks is not really worth it. Yeah, definitely, Drake. Definitely, Jake. I think personally, what I would have wanted to see here on gold is more of a higher time frame liquidity grab, to be honest, because you've already pushed. Like I say, gold's already up so much that, you know, even though gold's pushing now, do I get FOMO here? Not at all. Gold, I still wouldn't be a buy here on gold. Exactly the same as I said on Friday. The only way I'd buy gold is if there was a higher time frame liquidity grab, because you haven't really had like an hourly liquidity grab since back down here at 4 a.m. You tag lows, you close bullish, you continue buying. And you can kind of see here how this candle closed bullish and then closed doji. Well, I'd probably want to see something like that. Grab the lows, re-break high, then I'll take my trade. Yeah, the more lows you grab and then break out, the more likely you are to get a better risk to reward. That's the thing. You know, although you grab these lows and close bullish, what would have been nicer if we grab some better lows is we have more of a valid risk to reward. And I do still believe gold can retrace it, guys. If you're a buy here on gold, great, you're probably managing risk, but I still believe you can see gold come for a decent retracement. Exactly the same as Friday. I don't want to be a buyer this high. But we'll see. We'll see. But like I say, that's one thing I want to do on silver for the whole entire year is just track gold and silver in the London session and see which is moving nicer. And they do move very similar. Like silver just right then has followed the exact same plan that we used to trade gold. I just need the confidence to execute it. Because like I say, it does move very, very big. How can I join private group? There is a link on my Twitter, man. Just on X. At the Aaron Trades, you guys can check it out there as well. And if you do want to, you know, understand the reasons behind why I drew these levels, why I look at liquidity levels on gold and silver, same as the, you know, the big short that we called on Friday, I did put together a completely free liquidity course as well that you guys can just watch and learn all the levels using the higher time frame. It's completely free and it's very, 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 very important. Shows what, you know, why I draw these levels. Why am I looking for longs when I believe most people are trying to short? Why would I be trading into these liquidity levels? How do you spot these liquidity levels? It's very, 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 very important. Gold on the currency chart, yeah, 4,400 is the exact same level that I think you can at least retrace down into on gold. Gold back down to 4,400 looks like a pretty decent level. Again, though, like I say, we don't want to be selling it for no reason. But again, look, let's compare this to Friday's trade. You know, on Friday, when we took that massive short, first trade of the year, huge short, $8,000 trade. What did we do here? What made this trade so nice? We grabbed the highs? Well, we hadn't really grabbed the lows. Well, let's compare this to what we're doing right now. But to me, this looks pretty similar. We've grabbed the highs, we haven't yet grabbed the lows. So if we start to all of a sudden break back lower here on gold, I'm going to look for a short. And I think that could be a nice trade. So personally, I don't have any FOMO here on gold, guys. To me, there's gold, you know, when you actually zoom out, isn't really doing anything. The likelihood of you trying to take this breakout and getting caught at break even or minor loss is very high. I'd be very, very, very surprised that you'll see gold run up from here. Could be wrong. I don't think so. I don't think you'll see gold run from here. Watching gold long enough. And remember, keep in mind, we are only 22 minutes into this hourly candle. Previous hourly candle closed pretty much like this. This current hourly candle is looking like this. So by the time this closes, to me, this could easily start to form something like this. Come for that liquidity grab. And then potentially to roll over. Let's see. We'll see. So in 37 minutes, again, this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking for, in 37 minutes, this current hourly to respect this 6 a.m. high, a wick below it, and then you may see if you get your short. Yeah, 4,430. 4,430. Is that on the currency chart or this one? Yeah, this one here. Yeah, that kind of breakout level. Yep. I like that. I like that. Yeah, that's it. That's kind of all already, even to buy gold here, saying like even just a little bit of a pullback to that area. Or all of this, to be honest. That's a big level. Silver, again, I think if you're in silver, these highs here would be a good potential management point. Hey, Aaron, Euro longs. Let's have a look, man. Euro longs, let's see. Euro longs. What's the euro been up to? Let me see. Yeah, euro's at a pretty decent level. He did have a pretty decent bearish closure on Friday. Tagged the highs, closed bearish. So selling off here today would make sense. Let's have a quick look at the weekly. Weekly, very bearish. Big support though. So yeah, I mean, it's a big support. It's not a bad level to see if you can get some longs. Even for a pullback up into this current weekly open. Asia high levels, 1.175. Looks like a nice retracement level. Yeah, I like euro longs, man. I like that. You're buying at a nice level of support. Big daily support, big weekly support, big 4-hour support. Yeah, euro for a pullback looks nice. I like that trade, man. I like that trade. I don't trade the currencies anymore, but yeah, I like that. I like that. All right, YouTube guys, Unfortunately, I do have to wrap up early here today. Like I said, I do have to, I'm checking out the Airbnb, moving into a new place today. So I have to be out and all packed. The whole trading setup gone in the next 35 minutes. So unfortunately, I have to wrap up early here today, guys. Like I say, I am looking for gold to have a bit of a retracement. Personally, I don't want to be a buyer this high on gold. Now, that's not to say you guys can't trade it this high, but for me personally, seeing gold this high, same thing we said on Friday, is you can easily start to have some pretty decent pullbacks, which, to be honest, is what I want to look for into the New York session. Even to pull back down into that VWAP around 44.10, I think is going to be a nice short retracement, which is like 200 plus tick move, which is absolutely worthwhile waiting for. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in. I will see you guys same time again tomorrow. Trade safe. There's a lot of news today as well, guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.